Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn's classic Russian historical novel, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, 1962, delves into the harrowing tale of a labor camp prisoner struggling to survive amidst the oppressive grip of communism. This remarkable work, often likened to the literary giants Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, stands as a shining example of Soviet literature. In recognition of his literary prowess, Solzhenitsyn was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1970. Although he faced exile from the Soviet Union in 1974, he later returned to Russia in 1994. The novel unfolds in the bleak setting of a Stalinist labor camp in 1951. At the center of the narrative is Ivan Denisovich Shukhov, a prisoner confined within the camp HQ. Despite his obedience, Ivan's spirit has been worn down by the brutal and dehumanizing conditions he endures, especially during the harsh winter months. One fateful morning during winter, Ivan awakens feeling unwell. Though he manages to rise promptly at the designated 5 o'clock hour, he is plagued by fever and aching limbs. In an attempt to recover his strength for the demanding day ahead, Ivan decides to linger in his bunk a bit longer. The tolerance of prison guards varies, and some are more lenient than others, allowing the prisoners a bit of extra sleep. Unfortunately for Ivan, the guard on duty this morning is less forgiving. Ivan's failure to heed the wake-up call results in a stern punishment. He must scrub the floors of the officers' quarters. The bitter cold, with temperatures reaching as low as -17 degrees Celsius, adds to Ivan's trepidation, fearing it will further weaken him. He hurries through the task, completing it before heading to the mess hall for his morning meal. Following breakfast, Ivan intends to make his way to the medical bay. Amid the grimness of the camp, Ivan has formed connections with a few fellow prisoners who share his sense of despair. On this particular morning, he encounters his friend Fetyukov, who has secured some soup for Ivan to ensure he doesn't miss his breakfast. Although the soup is unpalatable, consisting of little more than black cabbage and rancid fish, it is still preferable to going hungry. Prisoners who perform well are entitled to extra rations, but Ivan's illness leaves him unsure of his ability to contribute. Thus, the soup might be his sole source of nourishment that day. With his meal finished, Ivan proceeds to the medical bay, seeking medical attention for his condition. Ivan's main goal in visiting the medical bay is to have his feverish discomfort and bodily pains assessed, hoping to be declared unfit for work so he can rest and recover throughout the day. Regrettably, the medical personnel show little concern. They assert that Ivan's condition isn't severe enough to warrant missing work, and even if it were, the medical bay doesn't operate during the morning hours. They advise Ivan to return that night if his condition worsens. As a result, Ivan is compelled to continue working at the power station for the day. Amid his tasks, Ivan engages in conversations with his fellow prisoners, reminiscing about their lives before incarceration. Ivan's own story revolves around being falsely accused of high treason and branded as a German spy, leading to his 10-year sentence in the labor camp, a verdict he accepted to avoid facing death. Throughout the hardship, Ivan clings to the hope of building a better life once he regains his freedom. As Ivan carries out his duties, his spirits lift when one of the officers, Pavlo, unexpectedly assists his team in mortar work. Such gestures from guards are rare, prompting Ivan to appreciate this small act of kindness. In response, he redoubles his efforts, pouring extra energy into his tasks. This dedication reaps rewards as Ivan earns extra food rations. At the end of his shift, he receives a reward of 400 grams of bread and an additional bowl of oatmeal. However, his dedication inadvertently causes frustration among his fellow prisoners. Ivan's prolonged task completion means they have to wait in the cold, delaying their own return to shelter. Despite their displeasure, Ivan remains unapologetic, recognizing that someone else will likely be the cause of a delay the following day. Among his group of hut mates, Caesar also secures extra food, an enticing parcel containing biscuits and sausage. Ivan is entrusted with collecting Caesar's rations from the parcel's office, though he has no packages of his own awaiting him. He had previously asked his wife to stop sending him food, acknowledging the financial strain and the fleeting nature of rations. The guards expect a portion of the parcels as a form of tribute for granting the prisoners the luxury of additional provisions. For instance, Caesar must lay out the contents of his parcel on his bed, allowing the guards to inspect it before he can enjoy its contents. After Caesar complies with the guards' demands for their share, Ivan takes the opportunity to purchase tobacco from a fellow prisoner in a different hut, adhering to his customary nightly routine. As the night progresses, the time to sleep and prepare for another demanding day at the power station draws near. However, Ivan finds himself unable to fall asleep. Instead, he engages in conversation with Alyosha the Baptist, a devoutly religious fellow inmate. Alyosha implores Ivan to utilize his sentence as an opportunity to cultivate his inner self. Although Ivan's belief in God remains uncertain, he endeavors to maintain a positive outlook. He reminds himself that this is just one day out of 3,653 days in his sentence, and finding contentment in even the smallest pleasures, like having tobacco, is his strategy for survival. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.